First of all, hello everybody. I'm going to be trying to recreate something that I tried the other day. These are all recipes that I don't know myself. I did not make them, create them, anything like that. Well, I guess I should say I didn't create the base ingredients, like the kind of flatbread wrapping I'm going to make around these. I didn't create it. I'm going off a recipe that I will be posting below in the description. So technically I did not make these recipes, but I just kind of got the ingredients and decided to try and put them together. So that's what I'm doing. What I'm going to be making today is, I don't even know what you would call it. It's kind of a Hot Pocket, but not really. Maybe we'll have you guys vote for what you want to call it. To begin with, what I usually do is I go ahead and cook down the filling, and it depends on what you like, so you can use anything you want. If you're a meat eater, maybe shred up some chicken, add a little cheese to it. If you like me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a breakfast type thing, so I'm going to use Impossible sausage. And what I do is I'll cook this down in a pan real quick, make sure that it's not raw, even though it's made from plants, and then we'll roll out all the stuff that we need. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so that you guys don't have to just sit around watching me cook things. Cook sausage, please don't fall. So as you know, I was saying that I used another website's recipe for flatbread to do this. I've only made this one other time, so I don't have the recipe memorized, so I'm going to be looking at my phone every so often to be like, hey, what do I have to do again? But I will be posting the link to this down in the description, so you guys can also reference this recipe. That way you guys can actually like see all the measurements and follow along on there rather than having to rewatch my painful video. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to put the dry ingredients together in here. We're going to whisk it all together, which means I need my whisk. Okay, what we're going to do first is we are going to whisk together the dry ingredients, and then once the dry ingredients are all together, then we make a little kind of well in the middle, and then we add the other stuff that goes in there. So I tried to keep this as plant-based as possible. I will not say vegan, because then the vegan witches will come and curse me, or they will come and do some really fucked up things to me. I wouldn't say this is vegan. I will say this is plant-based. I myself try and live a flexitarian diet. If you don't know what flexitarian is, I will try and find the definition and somehow put it in this video. And if I can't do that, then I will put it in the description. So basically, I try to keep it as healthy-ish as possible, I guess. 2 cups all-purpose flour. So I have my very fun and colorful measuring cups. All have been used down to the point where they no longer have the measuring amounts written on them. So, and then this one, even the handle broke. I don't understand how that happened. Don't judge me. I will get new ones soon. And these are reusable bags, reusable Ziploc bags. I know I'm fucking weird. Yes? What would you like, ma'am? All right, cup number 2. So 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Pretty soon you might see a special guest in the background. My cat is sniffing the screen trying to figure out why I'm on there. You can see her tail though. So I did the 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. I need 1 teaspoon of salt. When you're looking at this, you might see that a couple of things on here are different than what I'm using, and that's just because I don't have the exact ingredients that they're asking for, so I'm just using basically the same thing, but not really. Is that I don't use too much sea salt. I do have the big like shards of sea salt in my cupboard, but it's not fine. They're big chunks. And 2, I try and use it only as a garnish. Instead of an actual main ingredient in a dish. The reason why I do that is because iodized salt provides iodine and that's actually a mineral or something that's actually really important for our body to have. Let's do a teaspoon. And one thing that I also do, I like to measure the things over the bowl, because if a little bit kind of spills, then it gets in the bowl that it's going to go into anyways, instead of all over my table, and then I have less to clean up. I mean, I'm going to have a lot to clean up with this one, because in the end I'm going to be like rolling the stuff out. So we did that. So basically we do the flour, the baking powder, and the sea salt. We whisk this all together. Alright, so I think I whisked those together just fine. I want to make like a well in the middle of it, basically like a big hole in the middle of it. So I don't know if I could show you guys, but this is what it's gonna look like. The cat's looking like, what? And then we're gonna add our wet ingredients into the middle. So it's 2 tablespoons olive oil. I use canola oil, but you could definitely use olive oil. Obviously, it's in the recipe, or I think whichever oil you prefer. I've only done this with canola oil so far, and it's worked perfectly fine. So 2 tablespoons canola oil for me. 1 teaspoon of sugar, because I do not have maple syrup at the moment. 3/4 of a cup of cold water, and some oil for cooking. Why are you attacking the oil, child? Here is 1, 2, a bit of sugar, teaspoon, and see, I use this water dispenser. That these are just a little inaccurate because I did 3 of the quarter cups, and there's literally just like a smidgen of emptiness in this whole cup. Shall we? Huh, no, that's 3/4. How is that even possible? 3/4 cup of cold water into the middle in that well that we've created. It's gonna overflow a little bit, don't be scared. Now we mix it all together. All right, so you're watching me videotape myself twice to make this video. It's so technically, and I literally just remembered this, the 3/4 cup of water, you didn't have to put the whole thing in there. The first time I made it, I didn't need the whole thing because my dough came out pretty freaking sticky anyways. And if that happens to you, if you put the full 3/4 cup of water, don't worry about it. Just keep mixing your dough. And if it does come out sticky, just add a little flour to it, and eventually it will come together as a nice, not so sticky dough. So we're gonna keep doing this. You're mixing it basically. And so now that it's gotten into like a more solid consistency, I like to actually get my hands in there because I feel like I can mix it a little better than this thing can. So here we go. Yeah, and then you can feel the dough as well. So when you use your hands, you can feel like, hey, does this feel sticky? Does it feel like it's a good texture? Or does it feel like it needs more water? Does it need more flour? So this one actually is pretty sticky, like I thought it might be. So I'm gonna add some flour to it. So when the dough is sticking to your hand, that's not a good thing. Okay. Nope. I will need you. I don't want my flour to get all gross. So I add a little bit at a time. You don't need to add a buttload because it will mix together. But if you put too much, then it's just gonna kind of fall apart. It'll start like kind of crackling apart. I don't know how to explain it. It'll start kind of like if you have no, I don't want to say that. That's a gross analogy. It'll just get like really dry and start cracking apart and kind of crumbling apart, I guess is the best way I could say that. All right, nice. So it's taken most of that stuff off that was on my hands. So technically you're only supposed to knead this about, I think 5 to 6 times or something like that. But I did it a little more. And what you're gonna want is a nice dough, like that's kind of smooth. It's more or less smooth for me right now. I think I'm okay with the consistency myself. You want to make sure it's not sticky. So if you like touch it and your hand sticks to it, that's not good. You don't want that. You want to add a little bit more flour. But this one's just perfect. It's not super dry, it's not cracking apart, and it's not sticky. So this is great. We're gonna cover this now with a dish towel. And once we cover this with a dish towel, we're gonna let it sit for like 10 minutes just to do its thing, become a dough, whatever it does. Guest star appearance showed up. And then I did what my good old grandma taught me, and I washed the stuff that we used because I no longer need it, and everybody loves a clean kitchen. That took 10 minutes to just chill and do its thing. I have my little rolling pin. You can use whatever size you'd like. So what we're gonna do is I got myself a nice big plate because you're going to be rolling these out as circular as possible, but it doesn't have to be circular like perfectly, because what you're gonna do is you're kind of gonna treat them like a burrito, where you're gonna put the filling like in the middle, but then you're going to kind of like a pleated fold on the back. So we're gonna do that. Now that calls for this right here to be sectioned into 6 balls of dough. So we're going to do that. First and then if you have like one of those dough cutters, that would probably work amazingly here, but I do not. So there's that. So what I do is I'll do a half, and then another half, and then another half. So that way it's more or less equal. It doesn't have to be perfect. It really doesn't. I mean, you're the one eating these, right? So I got 6 balls of dough here. And now what we're gonna do, and I cleaned this table before I did this. I know that's why I don't want the cat over in this area. So we're doing a pretty good job of keeping her away from this specific area. Because what we're gonna do is we're going to lay down a little bit of flour. Because this is where you're gonna roll these into a little circle type thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna ask my special guest. So last time I put a little bit of cheese on mine, but I'm going to do with just sausage because we're trying to keep this plant-based. And literally, I think like me and him are the only 2 that are going to eat these. Quite possibly the stepmom and dad. But yeah, so we're just going to, duh. I should probably show you how to do that. So what I did, I'm not going to ruin that one since I already started. So you set a little bit of flour, and what you want to do is you want to grab one of these sectioned off pieces and kind of roll it as much into a ball as you possibly can. It doesn't have to be perfect, like where you're like, oh no, I can still see a crack right here. It doesn't matter. Just kind of shape it into a ball form. You know, see how it's not perfect. And then you're gonna kind of just smash it real quick. So it's kind of a round circle, as round as you can get it. Then you're going to plop it in the flour on one side, turn it over into the flour on the other side, and then you'll start rolling it out. Now, since it's already kind of like a circle-ish, that's how you're gonna get as close to a circle shape when you roll it out as possible. So what I like to do is I'll go 1, 2, like up and down, and then I'll flip it. But when I flip it, so say if I went up and down this way, when I flip it, I'm gonna flip it to where the the smaller side. So you see how it's longer this way. Now I want to go back and forth this way. So you're going to keep flipping and flipping and flipping the opposite way that you just rolled it, basically. I don't know. That's the best I can do there. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Oh, I guess I got it on video. So if it gets stuck to your rolling pin, the way that just did, add a little bit more flour. Not a ton, but just a little bit, because that'll help it not stick. Let's see. There we go. And now I just pay attention to what areas need more rolling out, and I'll kind of go in that area. Now it's not so much a back and forth. All right, so I try to make these kind of thin, not super duper thin to where it's like you could see through it or anything. Sure, it's pretty small. It's not see-through, but it's pretty small. So once I got that pretty decently rolled out, kind of like a circle, I need a spoon, so let me get that. So once I have these pretty much rolled out into like a circle, I will magically produce a spoon to put the filling in. So I don't know exactly how much of the filling I'm gonna put in. Let me try using one of the measuring spoons. So this is what I have. I have a tablespoon. I know it doesn't say it because I use it a lot and I'm cheap, but it is a tablespoon. The cat just ate shit. So here's about a tablespoon of filling so far. Definitely not enough. So let's do 2. And then a 1/3. I'm gonna say we'll do 4. We'll do about 4 tablespoons of filling. If you need a measurement, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so about 4 tablespoons. So this is the part that I'm like, oh, I don't know if you guys are gonna understand how to do this. It's called basically kind of pleating, so I'm gonna get that out of the way. So, and I'll also try and add a clip of that. It's gonna be way better quality. And this is how you're gonna do it. So you're basically gonna pull it in like fold after fold. And the reason why you're doing this is because if you put them all together in one big ol', like you just fold over each other, it's gonna be really thick. It's gonna be really thick. So it's gonna be like a thick breadish type of thing on the bottom. Like a croissant. Almost like a croissant. And it's not gonna cook very evenly. So it'll be looking like this on the top. I know it doesn't look perfect, and then that's what it's gonna look like on the bottom, kind of pleated. So we did like little by little on there. So now we have our plate to put these on. And actually, now that I'm making these, now is a very good time to warm up your pan and add some oil into there. I will also measure how much oil I'm putting in there so that way I can let you guys know. So in my pan fits about 4 of these. And the reason why I say 4 of these is because you're also gonna want to put a lid over it to help it cook at some point. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and roll the rest of these out. And it's probably gonna be a different clip the next time you see this. Better quality for one, because it'll be on my nice phone. Next clip will be me showing you how to cook these. So it'll be using a different camera, but it is what it is. I work with what I got. Okay, so here we are in the next clip. So basically what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to place these into there. And I have my burner set to about like a medium low-ish. I'm probably gonna put that on like a 3 more. Okay, so what's gonna happen is I'm gonna put this in here, and so you see that the oil is nice and runny, so that means it's pretty heated. If it's slow, it's not heated enough. So as long as it's runny, then you know it's working. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place these in here now. And you can hear a little sizzle. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's very low, but I can definitely hear it. And you're gonna place these with the pleated side down. You want that to cook first. And what I end up doing is I'll let these cook like this, open without the lid. I'm gonna let these cook. I will be checking on them in about 3 minutes time. For 9:33, I will be checking on these to see what the bottom looks like and make sure that they're cooking evenly, and then flipping them over if they're ready. All right, it's been 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and check. So I'm gonna use my hand because I'm used to putting my hands on hotter things. There we go. So yes, so it's a brown color. That's beautiful, so we want that. So we're gonna go ahead and flip all of these over. That one's an even better brown color. That's beautiful. So all these are getting flipped. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the lid on this now. So that'll help all the outsides and the inside of these folds get cooked. So that's gonna go on there. And I would say about, I wanna say about 5 minutes. 5 to 6 minutes, so let's see. Actually, perfect. At 9:40, we will come back and check on these and see how they're doing. So we went about a minute over, which isn't a big deal. So it's been about 7 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and lift this up and check on them. Careful, it will be hot. There's gonna be some steam coming out of this. So what I do is I actually touch the sides. They still feel a little, just a tiny bit doughy. They have some, how do you explain it? Oh, actually this one feels done. This one does not, this one so much. So the sides will have more of a, instead of that raw dough feel, it feels a little almost leathery. I know that sounds really unappealing, but that's basically what it feels like. So let me go ahead and try and flip one of these over. Ooh, that's beautiful. I actually really like that. So I like mine very toasted. So see that color on it? So as long as it's not, you don't want it black. That's for sure. I don't think anybody really wants theirs black. That one's actually pretty good. That would be more for if like, hey, I'm cooking for a guest for the first time and I don't know how they like their food. This is more like, hey, I know for a fact me and my family eat the shit out of that. And then, yeah, this one's good too. But so what I'm gonna do here, from, actually, seems fine. So I would say just to be safe, the second time, so the first time you're gonna cook them on one side for about 3 minutes, flip them over, and then you're gonna cover them. And once you cover them, you cook them for about 7 to 8 minutes. That's what I'm gonna say, just to give it a good amount of time to cook and make sure that yours cooks all the way through. So while these were cooking, I rolled out the rest of these. All right, so we just put these down, 9:44. So we will come back to these about 9:47, flip them over, and then we'll cover them, cook for about 7 to 8 minutes. So these look fantastic. And I can't wait to try these with you guys on the video because I'm really fucking hungry now. We are back. So all of this beautifulness is our product. The ones on the very bottom, kind of close to you guys, that would be our mystery pocket thingies that our special guest will try. Probably not right this minute because they're super freaking hot, but we will be trying the sausage ones. So, cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Ah, thank you.
This is bomb.
Would it have been better for you to walk around and show?
Looks delicious. No, because then, yeah, I don't know.
I need some coffee. We're all wake up.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me making these things that I made. Give me ideas on what you want to call these, or if they are already called something. Put it in the comments below if these are already called something, or if you want to name them something, because I have no idea what to name these other than flatbread pockets.
It's catchy name.
So
Flatbread
catchy.
Pocket.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys try this and I hope you like it. Let me know if you do. I will be looking forward to posting more videos of other stuff that I try. And even if you guys want to comment like links to different recipes that you would like to see made, I'm more than happy to try it out and see if I can help you out with tips or see if it tastes good. Thank you guys again. I really appreciate it. He really likes these, so I think I'm doing good. Take care, everybody. Love you guys.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more.